call that one "And Beautiful 2." First one was "And Beautiful," and then "And Beautiful 2." Well, after we got this and analyzed the results, I realized I couldn't keep going that way.
That had to be expensive.
That was expensive. That was a 1 hour in color.
Ooh.
Well, in Chicago, there was a program on a UHF station called Soul Train. It was not very well done, but it had some good features. Had young people, and they were dancing, and it was really a takeoff of the American Bandstand.
Right.
But it was black and white. So I invested in making a pilot, a 30-minute pilot, using that format and using the host, which was Don Cornelius.
Okay.
And when I saw the result, when I saw the pilot, I felt that we had a good chance of making this work. So I decided to back Soul Train. Now this idea really came out of the advertising agency that we had, and the guy that the account executive on our account was a friend of Don's.
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, when I made the decision that we were going to back it, I guess it was Tom Kuhn, who was the account executive, had the connections with Metro Media.
Okay.
Out
Definitely.
here in Los Angeles. And he came and investigated what it would cost for us to tape 4 shows once a month.
Okay.
And do 39 shows for a year. So that's a big budget.
This was huge.
But it was a budget that made sense. We started that October 1971. And all the ads on the show were mine.
Right. You own the show. In a
I owned the
sense.
show.
That was fabulous.
But we gave Don 50%, and we gave him 50% of the time. So Don was able to sell 50% of the advertising space on the show, and that's how Don made his money. Now, but I paid all the expenses.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Anyway, that's how Soul Train got started. And let me tell you, Soul Train took JPC from, I think, in '71, about 12.5 million to 37 million by 1975.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. It was definitely a household word, and it was definitely something. I lived here in LA, so like everybody, I went to LA High, and everybody was like, "Are you going over trying to get on Soul Train to get tickets?" You know, and then we even had students, you know, that were part of student body that were like regulars on the show. Because I lived here in LA, and it was just filmed. It was, you know, it was filmed over here.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was exciting.
So
I went on the show once.
Did you before? Did you before?
No. I can't even remember what, but someone recently, there's a documentary which I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Time Life.
Time Life.
Yeah.
They were supposed to interview me, but they didn't. They didn't interview me. And I haven't seen the show, but people tell me that you wouldn't even think I had anything to do except advertise on the show.
Okay. All right.
If you watch
But
that.
you had a lot to do with the actual structure of the show and the.
He did
I mean,
the financing.
I did the financing. I did a lot of structures because there are a lot of things that the show would have been too risque. I had to cool it. I had to really tamp it down.
Yeah, it was wild enough.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it would have been, but anyway, it was good. I can tell you this: we had a tough time getting top-notch entertainers on the show.
Why is that?
Well, because nobody knew about the show. The show didn't have any. Wilson Pickett was the first artist that we had, and I had to pay his, now on these shows you work for scale.
Okay, right.
But I had to pay all his expenses to come from New York to Los Angeles with his crew and his expenses here. But he was real popular and real hot
Right.
at the time, and it was a good start.
Mm-hmm.
But it was difficult to get other artists to get on the show. Little by little, we were able to do it.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna call names, but
Right.
some great guys that we would like to have had on the show right away. They didn't come until the show got popular.
Right.
But I can
And
tell
then
you
everybody
this-
wanted
Yeah,
to
we
be
know.
on the show.
We know that is.
We even had Michael Jackson on the show.
Right.
You know? And,
During that time, everybody was on that show.
It was
That
the place
that
to
was
go.
The place to go.
oh yeah,
That was the place to go.
But it was so popular and it was so effective. But one thing though, after about 10 years, the show, for me, our ads began to look like part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really wasn't.
Yeah, it looked like a segment.
Yeah, it looked like it wasn't being effective as I lost the impact.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did, I gave Don the show with a commitment that he keep Johnson Products on for 10 years.
Okay.
At least 1 minute of time on the show for 10 years.
Wow.
And I walked away.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
is.
today, Time Life is marketing a whole series.
Yeah, they have
on
a 9 DVD
it.
series
Yeah. Mhm.
on Soul Train.
Well, I think he sold that,
Yeah.
Don
Mhm.
sold the show.
Yes.
And that's what,
But they kept the commercials in place.
It's
So
all
it's
all
great.
the commercials.
well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it was really a great time. I think that was one of the best things